and more.
So let's do it, friends. Let's start the show. Hi. Wow. We're back. It's Friday night.
Hey, welcome. Friday night, everybody.
Welcome. We took last week off. It's been the first week off that we've taken since quarantine. And when I say week, I mean day.
We've been banging these shows out every single Friday night for you people.
And it's been fun.
It has.
It's been fun.
It was nice to have a week off.
It was nice. Yeah. So here's what we want to know. What are you drinking? That's what I like to ask. What are you drinking out there? What did you have for dinner? What's something that made you happy today? Or how are you staying cool? Because it's hot as hell. I know we're staying cool by dragging our mattress into our living room, which is where our air conditioner is. Cheers.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking bourbon. Just straight.
Wow.
That's what
Folks,
I like.
We've got a great show tonight.
We have a really good show tonight. Some of our favorite people, in fact. And we don't have a lot of skills. We don't have a lot of practical skills. But what we do
have a point that starts that way. We're useless.
We would not survive the apocalypse. However, but we do have this platform, and so we've been using our platform to raise money for great causes. And tonight, we are raising money for Navajo Strong. As you probably know, COVID is hitting Native American populations harder than any other population. And so this organization gets food and water and PPE and all different kinds of things to the people who need it most. So if you donate to our Venmo at Vermont Comedy Club during the show, all of that money is going to be donated to Navajo Strong. So please do that.
You can also go on our website, vermontcomedyclub.com. Anything in the next couple hours that we get, we're going to throw right at them.
Indeed. Let's see what the chat is saying.
Yeah.
Oh, I had maple rum and an egg sandwich. That is...
Wow.
That's like breakfast and dinner all at the same time.
That's not something I would necessarily crave in 101 degree heat, but it sounds delicious.
Anna says, I had the same things as Neil. He made the egg sandwich, so that made me happy. Okay, we're finding things out.
I wonder if they live together or if this is like a delivery service.
If they do live together, they are watching this from two separate rooms on two different devices, and that intrigues me. So I love that. Every week we try and write some jokes and talk about what the heck is going on in the world. So let's do that, right? Oh, we have a soundboard. Hello.
We know that you're in your homes laughing uproariously at the jokes we wrote for you, and we just need to hear that laughter to have a reason to go on with our lives. Okay.
So we're going to be doing that throughout this. So if you like a joke, tell us in the chat. Keep it going. We love it. Talk to each other. But for right now, it's time for the news of the week. All right. And we are going to begin with local news tonight. In Vermont, North Beach and Texaco Beach were closed for swimming today due to the presence of toxic blue-green algae. This is the second largest gathering of scum at North Beach since the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen the pictures? As of July 1st, composting is now law in Vermont. The ambitious policy has a goal of diverting 50% of all waste from landfills. If you want to cut the amount of trash from Vermont in half, we could have just given the city of Rutland to Massachusetts.
Say-oh! Yeah, he went there. Okay, over the border in New Hampshire, Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested, and she is now requesting a bail deal to wait for her trial outside of jail. Her argument is, I'm not Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not, there's a lot of similarities, okay? I'm not convinced. Ghislaine also didn't kill herself.
There's a lot of groaners.
Not a coincidence.
We do a lot of groaners.
Okay, whatever.
I think I might use the groan button more than
the laugh button. Yeah.
Moving on, national news. President Trump's niece, Mary Trump, claimed in her upcoming book that the president paid someone else to take his SAT for him when he was in high school. Meanwhile, Trump's parents, Aunt Becky and Felicity Huffman, could not be reached for comment. I know he's going to say that he took it himself. And look, Trump, all you have to do if you want to convince us that you took it yourself is release your long-form SAT certificate from the state of Hawaii. You almost wolf whistled. That was close.
I almost did. It was a misfire. In other school news, the CDC released their guidelines for reopening schools this Wednesday. Trump criticized those rules for being too harsh and too expensive. So, yeah, CDC, quit wasting all this money and time trying to make sure that kids don't die. Okay, obviously, Trump's parents didn't waste any time loving or caring about him, whether he lived or died, and look how he turned out.
That's right. The White House says that if schools and universities don't have in-person classes, all foreign students must leave the U.S. or risk being detained and deported. This is obviously a terrible, cruel decision for most international students, but anybody here on a scholarship from New Zealand right now has got to be saying, peace out, fuckers!
They are lucky. Oh, Jacinta, am I right?
Right.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said this week, if we can open Home Depot, we can open schools, which is all part of his new jobs initiative. Put school children to work in Home Depots. They're less susceptible to disease, and their tiny little hands are great for restocking shelves.
I've been saying it for years. Trump said schools must open and must be fully operational or risk losing federal funding. Education is incredibly important, says the guy who took Donald Trump's SAT for him in high school.
Nice. Call back. In other news, the WHO revised its guidance following a letter from 239 scientists saying that the coronavirus could become airborne in some indoor environments and get people sick. Said every bro in Florida, yo, you had me at sick, brah. Let's congregate in some indoor environments. What's congregate mean?
There's so many. Kanye West announced this week that he's running for president. An entertainment industry egomaniac with no experience and a tenuous grasp on reality, trying to convince people he's a viable Christian candidate despite decades of sexist behavior. Why, that's exactly what America needs.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
A federal judge ruled last week that 1,000 miles of the Dakota Access Pipeline must be shut down and drained of oil, which is also a process that Eric Trump goes through once a year. Oh, dumb.
Speaking of court cases, the Supreme Court ruled that President Trump's tax records can be subpoenaed by New York prosecutors, but Congress also cannot access them yet, meaning we likely will not see them before the November election. But who cares about his taxes? What we really want to see, Mr. President, is your long-form SAT test from the state of Hawaii. Fork it over!
Donald Trump Jr.'s girlfriend, Kimberly Guilfoyle, tested positive for coronavirus, which is honestly the least of her concerns because she probably is already dying from prolonged exposure to Axe body spray and male smugness.
New York City painted Black Lives Matter in huge yellow letters on Fifth Avenue, directly outside Trump Tower in Manhattan. White liberals could not be reached for comment as they were trapped in a human centipede of patting one another on the back.
Human centipede. The Washington Redskins and the Cleveland Indians are evaluating name changes to their teams after pressure from corporate sponsors. Just like you did on Halloween, the teams will probably do the easiest and cheapest thing and just go with a ghost costume. It's simple. You already have everything you need. The one thing you need is a white hood. They've got it.
I get it. Disney World reopened this week, the happiest place on earth, unless you're the three guys who rotate wearing the Mickey Mouse head who now have oral herpes and COVID-19.
The band formerly known as Lady Antebellum is suing Lady A, a black soul singer who has used that moniker for 20 years for the use of the name. This is low. I mean, even for people who like country music, it's low. And I would just like to suggest a new name. I think they can lengthen their name again. They can still be in the Lady A area, and they can just call themselves Lady Asshole. Oh yeah, I made a graphic for that, and it was too dumb to share.
We are cruising in the home stretch, folks. Starbucks will require its customers to wear masks at all cafes in the U.S. starting July 15th, meaning everyone will be safer, but the name on that cup is going to be anybody's guess.
Mocha for mocha. So dumb. That's so dumb. All right. Finally, a little bit of good news to end the night tonight, and our news segment tonight. Far Side author Gary Larson has started drawing again after a 25-year hiatus. Cows with glasses everywhere remarked, "Head for the hills, Ethel. He's got the pen again." Hey!
That's the news,
Wow.
everybody. Oh my gosh, we did it. Holy crap.
Did
we
it.
found this week that we took a week off and forgot how to write jokes.
Yep.
So thank you for sticking with
or
us.
maybe we can blame the heat. Can we blame the heat?
We could blame all sorts of things.
Yeah.
We could blame being in fucking quarantine for 4 months. We were just going crazy.
I love, there's a lot of action in the chat.
Yeah.
Yes. Traction. Neil asks, how was Kanye 2020 just this week? It feels like a month ago. I know. Well, everything. Time doesn't exist anymore. Haven't you heard, Neil?
Uh-huh.
Also,
way,
how many backpats could a centipede give itself?
Okay, all right, thanks. Okay, I'm not saying it's a fully airtight joke. I'm just saying.
I read that at first as how many backpacks could a centipede give itself, and then I was like, why are we talking about backpacks?
That's a much cleaner joke.
It is.
Than the joke it was. Woohoo! Oral herpes. Someone's a fan of oral herpes. Great.
Love it. Yes, very common.
Awesome. Hey, are we ready for our first guest?
I think we're ready for our first guest, and we have got a clip that we're going to play. She is so funny, so please enjoy this clip.
Sam?
But I tried one more time recently. My friend set me up with someone. We exchanged phone numbers, and the gentleman and I texted just words. He didn't send me any pictures of his situation in his pants. I thought that at this point, this is how hard it is for women, that if someone doesn't send you a picture of their genitals, you're like, what an amazing person. And so we had wine one night, and it was great, and we were about to have a third glass of wine, and we both did that thing where we pretended we didn't want one, but we did. And what you're really saying to the waitress at that point, should we have a third? We should have a third, is, we're gonna have sex, right? Yeah, we're gonna have sex. And so that's what I thought was going to happen. Now, I didn't feel any sexual tension with this man, which is weird, but I knew maybe the third glass will kick it in. And then on the third glass, he said to me, you know what, you would love my girlfriend. And I was like, you're what, bro? And I turned into like an angry man. I was like, what the hell is this? And so he said, oh, I'm sorry, I have a girlfriend, is that a problem? I said, no, and I tried to act normal about it. And he said, she doesn't mind that I hang out with other women because I'm a feminist. And I was like, oh, how great is it, ladies, now that men are feminists, they're ruining that too, right? I go, that's not what a feminist is. If I want to hang out and drink with a feminist on a Friday night, I'll stay home alone, all right? Listen. Men are taking over feminism, which is great, but they're getting it wrong. Here are the rules, men. If you hit on us and we don't want any part of it, you have to walk away. But if you don't tell us you have a girlfriend and we like you, you have to sleep with us. Sorry, that's the rules. But I realized this is the new man. This is the new problem that women have, because in the 50s, men would marry the woman that they want to cook and clean for them and have their babies, and then they'd get a little sex on the side. Nowadays, men are smart. They live with the person they want to sleep with, and they try to get brains on the side. I'm no dummy. I was like, you cannot be at home having sex with your girlfriend and then take me out and talk about documentaries until 11 at night, you pig! Thank you guys so much for listening.
Okay.
Hi, we're back.
Oh my
gosh.
She's so funny.
We love Jen Kirkman. We love Jen Kirkman so much, and we are so thrilled that she's here with us tonight. So please welcome Jen Kirkman.
Yay!
Yay! Yeah. Hello, Nathan.
Hi.
Oh, here we go. Hi.
When we were talking earlier, I thought I was on the show.
I'm so sorry.
I've blown my exciting opening thing, which was nothing really. But I'm glad no one had to see me adjusting where I was and all that.
Right. Well, while they watched your video, which was very funny, we chatted with you a little, but we didn't talk much. What's going on with you, Jen? I love the California light you're bathed in.
I know, and I have my shirt says California. I thought I'd really represent today.
Wow.
I could turn the curtain down. Turn the curtain down. That's proper. I could
Don't
roll
you have
the-
a turn down service for your curtains?
I feel like we're in danger of turning into Todd Glass here and like changing too many things. The room looks fine.
Okay, because I could get some candles. I'm okay. I know that you saw my Instagram video because that's when you reached out to ask me to come on the show. I have a COVID test and I'm negative, so that's good.
Good.
Yay.
Good.
I didn't think there was any way I could be positive, so.
And you managed to get a COVID test and like hold your phone and Instagram it while you got it, which was pretty impressive. And it looked like kind of no big deal.
It was not a big deal. Now, I got the swab up the nose, but I guess the earlier versions of that were more like they stick it up slowly, they root around, it feels weird. People said it felt like it was tickling their eye. Then they do the other side. I didn't have that. She just went like this and out, and that was it. It's really long and it looks weird.
Yeah.
But I felt nothing, and I wouldn't lie. So I don't know if everyone's going to have, I don't know if every test will be like that. Or maybe it was not accurate enough, and that's why I'm negative.
I think it's, well, I hope not.
But I haven't left my house.
Though, it's good for people who are thinking about getting a COVID test to hear like, it wasn't that bad. It was just very fast. Just do it.
You couldn't even feel it. I mean, it wasn't even like, oh, it felt weird, but it wasn't bad. If you stick a Q-tip in your nose, and people, who don't have anything to do tonight, try it. You can do it without touching the walls of your nose. So you don't feel it until the end. And it just kind of feels like that. Like, oh, something hit there. Okay, bye. It's so
Did you
fast.
practice before you went?
No, because I was terrified. I let myself. This is what I want to help other people. I wasted like 3 hours late at night the night before of my life, from midnight to 3 a.m., not sleeping, worrying about it.
Mm-hmm.
For what? What was I even worried about? What if it sucked? It's still 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But I just felt, how it is. It's like you find something to focus on that really isn't what you're worried about. It's just sort of weird that I have to get this, that any of us would have to get this test and that there's a pandemic. It's probably what I was really upset about.
He does that all the time. About a lot of things.
Yep, that's just anxiety.
Yeah.
What else is going on in your life? How's everything? Are you writing? Are you not work? Are you doing podcasting? I know that.
Yeah, my only income right now is my podcast. So I have a podcast called Having Funlessness with Jen Kirkman, and I've been doing the podcast for 7 years, but I have a Patreon version that people can buy or pay or whatever you call it, subscribe to. But I am doing some writing. I'm just writing like a script for free to try to get a writing job when all that starts opening up. And actually, I did last year. It's going to sound a bigger deal than it is. Sell a Hallmark Christmas movie that I finished writing while in quarantine, but it's not getting made. It's basically the way it works is they buy a pitch off of you, and then you write the outline, you get paid a little for that. If they think that's good, they say, okay, now write the script. Then you write that, get paid a little. Then they can take the script and go, this sucks, we're having someone else rewrite it. And then even then it might not get made. Or they go, okay, here's some notes, you rewrite it, here's a little bit more money. But it still doesn't mean it's getting made. It's like a whole process. So it was good because it financially kind of kept me afloat at a time when there was no work. So I'm really grateful, but like, it was weird to be, I've suddenly had all this time to finish it in the last couple months, but
are you still in the pipeline?
Well, I handed in my script. I don't know. They're not going to read it for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So you don't know
it could get made.
It could get made.
Well, see, the thing is, like, it doesn't matter to me if it does or doesn't, because with each rewrite, the money gets less, but it's actually more work. So I'm fine if they kill it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it takes place in Vermont was the reason I was telling you.
Oh, see, I feel like it's a huge deal. Because I know you love Christmas.
Yeah.
And you love Hallmark Christmas movies. Like, so just dog is sitting on a piece of important equipment right now, which is why
I thought Nathan got up and just decided to mess with you and mute everything.
Just gone.
But I mean, I feel like that's
I know you're obsessed with those movies, and
Yeah.
it's an incredible. It's like, I know it's a dumb opportunity, but it's got to be exciting and fun, and silly.
That ended the minute I pitched them, because I know someone that works there and they know I'm obsessed, and I had an idea, and I sent them 3 ideas and they picked the one that was the least developed and the one that I was least excited about. So you know how it is. Like, it's better off I just sat home and watched them. Like, you never want to actually meet your heroes, and my heroes were the Hallmark Christmas movie process.
Right.
So I learned my lesson. It's hard work. But you know, it is about a woman who lives in Boston, and she's going to go on a bunch of adventures, but they all take place in a town in Vermont that I made up.
Would you share the name with us, or can you, or is it?
I think I can. It's called Snowbridge. 2 words.
There's nothing we love more in Vermont than movies that purportedly take place in Vermont with all the fake snow and the fake locals and everything. It's so fucking quaint.
Filmed in Vancouver.
Yeah.
In August.
Well, if that that's the sad part, is if it did get made, it's not like it's going to help the Vermont economy.
Well, we don't do a great job of offering tax incentives to filmmakers here, so they don't have to make it here.
Well, yeah. So that was like, but that's it. So I'm trying to be not busy. I want a life of leisure, and so I'm trying to build in leisurely things every day, like reading and watching TV shows I never watched before, and I'm finally catching up on, which is really fun to do.
Yeah.
What is what's the thing that you would recommend the most, either book or TV show, that you had wanted to watch that you weren't able to, but now you have during quarantine, and you're like, this is the #1 quarantine thing to do?
Well, everything I'm going to say, people are like, yeah, we did that already. But I had never seen Better Call Saul. It's incredible.
I've not seen that.
You have or haven't?
No.
Mm-mm.
I never watched Breaking Bad. I never will. I don't care. Like, it's a good show, blah, blah. I get it. But Bob Odenkirk's acting is what I'm staying tuned for. Like, it's just really incredible. It's like it's like you feel like you're in a master acting class. I just love watching him. And then Schitt's Creek, which I always blew off because of the pun. And it's the most wonderful, heartwarming. I'm crying watching it, like crying, not crying, laughing. It's so great. You've obviously seen it.
Yeah, that was something that I slept on for a really long time, and I ended up binging it at the very beginning of quarantine. And then I watched all the way up to the last season, because I can't get the last season on streaming services yet.
I'm in the same boat. So you can buy it technically on iTunes, but for some reason, I'm not ready for it to end. I want to stay in this limbo.
Yeah.
Like, I think I will be so sad when it ends that I have to wait until COVID-19 is over so that I can be sad and then go hang out with a bunch of people. But I don't want to be sad and then be like, I'm trapped in my home.
Yeah. I think we're all in that boat.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
are you, so you're in LA. How are your parents doing? Your parents are in Massachusetts. What's the sitch? Yeah, like,
They're 82. They've got pre-existing health conditions, but they're not unhealthy people. They're like running around, in real life, they run around, do their thing. My mom's starting to get depressed. She feels like people don't care about the elderly. And she sees, she claims her neighbor is a doctor and has a lot of outdoor non-social distancing parties.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't like that. She takes it very personally. And then they were good. They were quarantined for a few months. They may not be politically lined up with me, but they believe in this science.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good.
But then they went to the goddamn casino last week. They went to Foxwoods 2 weeks ago. I was so mad. They tried to lie to me, or they did lie to me. They told my sisters not to tell me. Of course, my sisters are going to tell me.
Yeah.
And it's been 2 weeks and they have no symptoms. And they promised they're not going to do it again. They did not have a good time. They actually met some Trump supporters there. And they were the crazy kind. Like, they weren't wearing masks. And when my mom would ask people to wear masks, this one guy said, why don't you go take your last breath and die? And so that upset her.
Wow.
This other woman had a Trump 2020 mask under her chin. And when I asked her to please put it on, she said, fuck off. So it's not that fun as it used to be. Like, yeah, it doesn't sound like it.
Oh, I feel like any lives, well, obviously we haven't been to any live stuff. We're not planning on opening the club anytime soon. But
Good.
What I've heard from people a couple of clubs in town, music venues have opened. And from what I've heard, it's just like very uncomfortable. There's just like this level of like fear. It's just not super conducive to having a good time.
I haven't been anywhere. I haven't even taken a socially distanced walk with a friend. Like, I'm probably getting too used to the isolation, but I'm terrified of everything. I don't understand. There's a lot of people going back on the road, and I don't get it, because the audience, if you're not wearing masks, you're laughing your corona to everybody.
This is nuts. Crystal Fleischman in the chat just said that she did a trade show at Foxwoods in early March. So like right before everything shut down, and people were still trying to like shake her hand.
Yeah, I went, the last thing I did was March 8th, which, God, that was cutting it close. I flew to Washington, D.C. for a gig, and it was still not a big enough deal. It was to me. I understood what was coming, as anyone did who was like watching the trends. But it still would have been a last minute cancel of a giant thing at the Kennedy Center that they didn't need me to be part of. There was 10 other women. It was a little festival, but it would have looked bad. I would have looked dramatic. Now I'm like, if I went, obviously I'm fine. But people there like that ran it were trying to shake my hand, and I go, no, COVID. And they would get offended. And I'm like, dude, this is before I even knew about distancing. So I'm like this close, but won't shake your hand. But yeah, it's when I think about how close I cut it. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yep. Our last weekend.
It was that same weekend was our
real proper last weekend.
Last
it was
weekend.
Kyle Kinane did a lot of bumping elbows with people.
Yeah. The following weekend we had Gina Brillin, and we had her come up.
We did one show.
They did one show on Thursday, and then we said,
nope,
never mind. And we just paid her for the weekend, and we were like, go, we don't want to do this.
We've never been back.
God, that's my dream, is I show up at a club, they pay me anyway. And they're like, we don't want to do this. And I'm like, neither do I. I'm great. But I guess it's different when there's a pandemic, and it's not like you can, not a fun thing.
Yeah. Anyway, well, we don't want to keep you for much longer, but it's so good to see you. I just love seeing people's faces.
Yeah. Me too. I get a lot out of Zoom. Like, people are really missing the human connection, but I get it. I think this is great.
Yeah.
I get heartwarmed. So it's great to see you guys. Your show looks great, is great.
Nice.
Thank you.
I think I'm going to take like a little walk before the sun sets.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. All right. We'll have a good time. It was good to see you, Jen.
Anytime you need me, I'm here.
Okay,
see you later.
Bye, friends.
Bye. Jen Kirkman, everybody.
I love her so much.
We love. If you're enjoying the show, like we said, we are taking donations for Navajo Strong this week. So Venmo us or donate on our website. All of our donations are going to Navajo Strong this week. And you know what else I'd love to tell people about while everyone's here?
What?
Really quickly, we did an Instagram live yesterday, if anyone was watching, but Nathan has spent the last number of weeks revamping our website, and it's really, really cool. There's a lot of digital content on there now that you can go through, videos and podcasts and all kinds of stuff. And we also have some new merch, which we're very excited about. So a couple local artists made custom limited edition merch for us. Kirsten Hurley made a t-shirt, limited edition t-shirt that is really, really awesome. And you can pre-order those now on the website. And then we also have Allison Gutchell made prints and stickers for us that are of our dogs. Whoop, there we go. So this is Tina and this is Ellen, and they have unicow horns on their heads. And they're just the most delightful. These are the little stickers. They're just the most delightful prints. So if you feel like it, go to our website, buy some merch. We reordered our onesies, our Moo-born onesies with a unicow on it. So check that out and explore our website. Just have some fun, you know?
I must apologize for ducking in and out of the frame so much tonight. We have a dog that's, I think when your dogs are hot and sleepy and they sleep all day, then they start to become a little restless in the evening hours when it starts to cool down. That's what I'm finding.
That's all right.
Pardon me.
Well, anyway, that was great with Jen, and we talked about the website. Boom, boom, boom. Well, Stephanie says, already ordered my t-shirt. Yes, nice. I love it. I love it. Rachel says the stickers are the best. Okay.
Awesome.
I think we have
a little piece, a little video piece to show you.
It's a PSA.
It's a PSA. So, guys, and I'm talking just to the guys now. I have noticed a trend where I think men in particular, a lot of men in particular, are finding the mask wearing trend to be a little distasteful. And so we put together a little public service announcement for those of you men feeling that way. So Sam,
we hope this helps.
Roll that clip.
We are being lied to, our freedoms are being taken forever, and I will not be muzzled like a mad dog. This is sick.
Fellas, we know that wearing a mask can feel pretty stupid.
It is not my job to keep you safe. It is your job to keep you safe.
If you want to wear a mask, but you're not going to tell us to do what we don't want to do.
We're going to perceive you wearing a mask as like a baby with a blanket.
People look at you like some kind of baby, or worse, like a lady.
Because I'm an American, and I feel like I should be able to do what I want to.
If you wear a mask, your buddies might think you don't love freedom.
I would die for that country. I would die for the Constitution.
It can be downright emasculating hang on now. What's this? Why, it's a goddamn cowboy. Look at that specimen of manliness. They don't make them like that anymore, do they, boys? Check out that cool bandana he's wearing to conceal his identity. What a macho look. Wait a second, who's this? Why, it's Deadpool, that rated R superhero who murders bad guys with his guns and then says funny things right after. That's the kind of superhero you would be. All you'd need is a cool red cowl like Deadpool has. Whoa, ninja! Ninjas are so awesome. I bet if you had the training, you could be a ninja. You'd have swords and throwing stars, and you'd sneak up on people, and they wouldn't know who you were because you'd be wearing that super manly ninja face covering like a fucking boss. So guys, maybe we shouldn't worry. Maybe wearing a mask in public actually makes you look more like a man. So the next time someone tries to convince you otherwise, you tell them, "Oh shit, it's Bane from the Batman movie. Look at that guy's muscles. God, he's strong. I bet if he gave you a big bear hug, he'd break every bone in your body and then you'd come. That's how fucking manly he is. God, you should get one of those masks and wear it everywhere and be just like Bane. Fuck!"
Brought to you by the Council on Toxic Masculinity and the Centers for Disease Control.
So, there you have it.
Masks are
so
masculine.
Manly. So masculine. I feel so masculine when I wear a mask. We're gonna bring.
I like the break every bone in your body and then you come line.
That's just good writing.
I think that's just good. That's just A+ comedy.
Hey, it's time for our next special guest.
And they are a very funny comedian, and we actually have a clip of them as well. So Sam, will you please hit it?
And the thing that I've learned about being on Tinder is that I'm really generous. Like, I'll talk to anyone. But the other thing that I've learned about being on Tinder is that I have massive tits. I just did not know this. Like, every day, people are like, "What size are your boobs? What size are your boobs? What size are your boobs?" The other day, a guy wrote me, "How much do they weigh?" That was really weird. So after I weighed them, he said, "Ugh," and like immediately unmatched. Actually, he did not want to talk to me anymore. And I just had to wonder, like, what would have been the perfect size for this guy? Is he thinking like a fisherman? Like anything under 13 pounds? I'm just gonna toss his titties back in the sea. Wait for them to ripen. I just do not know. So I went back to my parents' house to visit my dad for Father's Day. And just to paint a picture of my dad. My dad is an extremely old, tall, white guy, so we look a lot alike. And I was taking him out to lunch, and during lunch, I asked to borrow $40, because I'm an asshole. And the table next to us overheard and was trying to guess what our relationship to each other was. They came up with sugar daddy and sugar baby. And I was not offended that they thought I was a sex worker. I was offended that they thought I would fuck my 70-year-old wrinkle sack of a dad. For only $40. Take at least double that. Thank you very much.
We are back, and we're about to bring on our next special guest.
Oh, she's a wonderful comedian. She's in New York City. Please welcome Jade
Marcotte.
Jade Erin Marcotte.
Yay!
Hi. How are you?
We're good. How are you?
Probably not good, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like every day people ask me how I am, and I'm always like terrible, but that's normal. So yeah, terrible.
The world is on fire.
On the terrible spectrum, where would you say?
I mean, not that bad because I still like have a job and I have money, so that's good.
I thought you were saying men. I really thought you were saying men.
Well, no, I was going to say men, but I was like, this is not like a dating talk show. I can't start talking about all the men that I fucked. That's save that for the podcast.
Okay, our audience would like that as well.
Okay, sure.
They just need to be entertained, however we see fit, I guess.
Well, I mean, pandemic dating has been hard. I mean, like, at least you guys have each other, right? That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I only started wanting to like strangle him earlier this week, and it took like 4 months.
That's good.
Together all the time.
That's a strong relationship because your apartment is not that big, right?
Right.
It's just this.
It's just we live on Church Street. I don't know.
But I imagine it's a different animal altogether to be attempting to date in this time. Like it's like every person you go out with could kill you.
Well,
I mean that's how it is all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like I was like talking to someone the other day. It's like I'm already risking STDs and COVID. I'm like good, but no, I haven't. I've been good-ish. I've been good. Like I was in Vermont for a while. And I hung out with my ex-boyfriend a little bit, which I didn't feel that bad about because it was like in Vermont. So I feel like there's less of a risk.
For sure.
Maybe.
Definitely.
For sure. Now that I'm back in New York, I've been like really cautious because every guy that I've talked to has been like, oh, it's not that bad. I've been dating all the way through the pandemic. And I'm like, so you've just been like fucking on the regular. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's like
terrifying.
another level of anxiety.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm hot, right? And it's so funny. It's so entertaining. I was listening to your episode with Chanel today, and I just think everyone needs to listen to it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been really fun.
So talk to us a little bit about like what inspired you to make the podcast and what has the process been like as far as like learning how to produce and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. So I am a stand-up comedian and I produce a show in New York. Not being able to do that was killing me. I was having so much anxiety just sitting around doing nothing. So I decided to start this podcast. And at first I was like, I really want to do a podcast where I just kind of like yell at white people who've never dated like a person of color and just be like, why? Is it because you think they're ugly? But I was like, okay, that's going to be a little bit alienating. And the other thing is I would like to have a podcast where I can have people of color on the show. So I kept trying to like think about like things that I like to talk about. And I'm such a narcissist, so I just wanted to talk about how hot I think I am. So that's how this idea started. Learning podcast production. It's been okay. I mean, there's so many like easy tools to learn how to like record. Like I just bought like a $60 like mic that's actually worked pretty well. You just plug it into your computer with a USB and it's fine. For a while I was having a sound engineer do all the editing, but I've been learning through Audacity how to edit and everything. And I don't know, it's been a couple hours a week, kind of a commitment, but it's good. It's keeping me busy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I just love, you know, I'm actually like not really much of a podcast person myself. My attention span is very short when it comes to like audio things. But the fact that you change topics so often within it was really made it more accessible to me, because I was like, oh, okay, so they're now they're talking about politics, and now they're talking about dating, and now they're talking about comedy, and now they're talking, like, it kept me on my toes. And so I was engaged the entire time, which was really fun, I think, instead of just like the podcast where people are just talking about either nothing or talking about one boring subject for like the entire time.
That's good feedback, because I actually recorded a few episodes that I never aired with like some of my good friends, like Kendall Farrell, who everyone knows. And like we talked for like an hour and a half, and I wanted to stay on topic. And so I kept being like, why do you think you're ugly? Why? And so like, and then I listened back to it and I was like, this is a little much. Like I was going into like why he thought he was unfuckable as a child. And then that got me into like talking for about 10 minutes about how I thought I was really fuckable as a child. I'm like, this could never be seen. So, you know, I need to bounce around or else it's going to get real bad.
I think that's something everybody considering doing a podcast should do, is make 1 or 2 episodes and throw them out.
Yeah.
You learn so much from that. Yeah.
Make them with your friends who are fine that you're going to throw them out. Yeah, don't book your big guests first.
Yeah. I just also respect so much. You have always been such a hustler as far as like producing your own shows and making your own opportunities for yourself. And as I was listening to your podcast, I heard that you had written a pilot, which is super exciting. Do you feel like telling our audience about the pilot that you've been working on?
Sure. Yeah. So like I said, I was having a mental breakdown. So I started taking a class, which is kind of similar with taking your class, how I got into stand-up. I started taking a class that moved remotely, and then I ended up, the pilot was supposed to be written in 8 weeks, and I wrote it in 3 or 4 days, like a crazy person. And it's also set in Vermont, like Jen's pilot. And yeah, it was, I'm a narcissist, so it's like loosely based around me, and I didn't want it to be like a stand-up pilot. So it was like me trying to become a professional DJ in downtown Burlington. And then the first event in that, if I could go into that, was me thinking that I was DJing like a big party, and it's a co-op fundraiser. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to write. I don't know if I'll ever do anything with it, but yeah, it's good to just get started, I guess. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, you also like, I mean, you're saying it's because you're a narcissist, but you have to write what you know, right? Like,
oh my God, yeah.
You have to use what experiences you've had to create your art and get whatever you want to say out there into the world. And you have a lot to say.
Well, I'm just like always so impressed with like comedians that can like write about like current events or things. Like all I can talk about are like my tits and like growing up and being in Vermont. That's all I can talk about. Those 2 things. Nothing else comes up. It's horrible.
That's the.
Yeah, but growing up in Vermont as a person, as like a Black woman, that is like that is a different experience than a lot of people have. You know, like is in the Northeast Kingdom.
Well, I mean, I know like 3 of them. So I like, for me in my mind, I'm like, it's not that unique because there's like, because I those are people that I'm still pretty close with.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, everyone knows these like 3 Black women in Vermont, but no, not a lot of people know about that experience. But being in New York and doing stand-up, it's kind of, I mean, everyone has a unique experience, I think, who moves to New York, and most people are very good at stand-up. So I don't know, me just going up and being like, ugh, it was so weird when someone was racist to me that one time is usually doesn't do the best, but it's
well, yeah, we love what you do, and keep doing it.
People can find your podcast everywhere the podcasts are found, but it's also, we have a link to it on our website now.
Yeah.
And just, you know, we would love to see you again, and keep us posted on everything that's going on. We love you.
Yeah.
Love you too. Nice seeing you.
Bye.
Thanks for being here. Bye.
See you later. Oh, Jade Marcotte.
She's great. She's hustling.
She's wonderful.
She's getting it done.
So keep an eye out, because shit's happening, everybody. And listen to our podcast. It is so funny.
We're starting a little podcast network called Unicow Media, and it's on the website. And
there are 3 podcasts on it right now.
Yep.
One that is by Nathan, one that is by Sam, our producer, behind the scenes in this moment. Yep. And the other one is Jade. And then we've got 3 in the pipeline. So that's very exciting.
Totally.
All right. We need to move
Shall we move it along here?
We've got a very special guest coming up next.
Oh boy.
This is one of our,
how do we want to
introduce it?
So once in a while we have someone on in a segment we like to call Alter
Ego.
Now, I think what I want to say is that we've heard a phrase going around a lot these days, and that phrase is eat the rich.
Eat the rich.
And I think we all know that we have to eat the rich.
Yeah, they must be eaten. They have to be.
The question is that I have, and I think a lot of our viewers probably have, is how does one prepare the rich for eating them?
And so we invited a celebrity chef on to the show tonight to teach all of you and us how to prepare and eat the rich. So please welcome Marty Kruk.
Chef Marty Kruk, everybody. Let's get Marty on here. Whoops, think I stopped him. Whoops.
Well,
it's
been a while since we've had technical difficulties. So
Hey-o.
there.
Hey,
Hey,
wow.
yeah.
Put some gazpacho in your galoshes. It's me, Marty Kruk, the
Wow.
South Burlington.
Can't believe it's you. This is incredible. I know you're a little bit of a local culinary celebrity. We appreciate you being here.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Eating the rich is a big topic. It's on everyone's minds, you guys.
It sure is, yeah.
So I guess we'll just start at the beginning, and just ask, like, for example, how would you eat a Bloomberg?
Yeah, how would you prepare a
Bloomberg? A Bloomberg is you're gonna prepare a Bloomberg as you would if you were down in the bayou cooking a weasel. You know, it's a member of the weasel family, a stoat, a mustelid, as they say. And there's very little meat on one of those animals. It can be a little gristly. So you're going to want to season it, tenderize it very well. I've got a great recipe in my cookbook. It's called Gravy Boats and Guillotines.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, okay.
And so ideally, you'd serve the Bloomberg in perhaps a cold soup, vichyssoise type of thing. You can throw in a dash of Gates for some extra flavor. And
interesting. So just like
a shaving of Gates?
Not grating,
like a julienne.
Microplane the Gates. Yeah, julienne Gates, lovely, delicious. And even though you get the picture, you think it sounds tasty, a lot of customers are wary about eating a Bloomberg. So what you do is you just spend a lot of money at Cisco, you order up a shitload of Bloomberg, and then people just have to choke it down. They have no choice if you spent all the money.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Now let's move on to another one because I'm
pro
curious.
tip.
Sure, yeah, of course.
You shave all those mustelids, you shave the weasels, save the fur because I hear that Giuliani is looking for a new wig.
Okay, good.
Okay, so you save, if you are preparing a Bloomberg, you want to save the fur.
Weasel fur makes a great toupee.
For a Giuliani.
Okay, great.
So, and let's say, for example, our next rich we want to try is a musk. Now, a musk, that seems like that might be a challenging one.
Yeah, well, a musk are very tender. They have been smoking themselves for the past couple years, so they do have that rich smokehouse flavor. But you do have to remember that the creature does lack, for the most part, a spine. They are essentially an invertebrate.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
So
a jellyfish.
Absolutely, a jellyfish, a calamari, an octopus. So you're going to probably want to prepare them in the traditional calamari method, breaded and deep fried. That's the best way to cook a musk.
Okay, great. That's great, man. That makes a lot of sense. Any other tips for a musk before we move on to the next one?
Well, yeah, the FDA, they recommend cooking the musk to 160 degrees at the minimum. You're not going to want to have to abide by that necessarily. You do not need big government telling you how to cook a musk. Any resulting diarrhea you may get from eating an undercooked musk is just the marketplace of free ideas at work.
Sure.
Okay, I guess, yeah. What about a Bezos? I've heard, one of my friends was talking about a Bezos.
Yeah, that seems
How would you prepare Bezos?
Yeah, well, the Bezos are very tough, very tough. It's hard to squeeze anything out of a Bezos. It's a stodgy, stingy cut of meat. But I'll tell you what, an overnight brine can really soak some life into the Bezos, draw out the flavor. I've got one prepared right now. It's quite delicious if you take a look there.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that looks nice.
And see, at the Bezos, too, you're going to want to double any recipe you see online because his wife is going to take half of it. The ex-wife is going to rear it.
Okay.
Good to know. Good to know.
If you want to throw a little virality, make your Bezos recipe go viral, I say throw in a dash of Soros because a lot of people say umami is the fifth flavor, but personally, I think it's Zionist conspiracies.
Okay. I'm always looking for a way to go a little bit more viral.
I would never think of any of this stuff. It's so great to have.
This is interesting. One of our chat people is Eric in the chat is suggesting, it seems like he's prepared a musk before, and he says you must cook a musk for a long time.
Oh, wow. Eric is on top of the pun game. I admire it. I have used that for the title of my next cookbook.
Yeah. Is there anything else we need to know about the Bezos?
Did my assistant bring by anything this afternoon?
Actually, yes.
Yeah, I think they do have like a.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to drop off some hors d'oeuvres. So, I mean, you can take a
nice
bite of that. It's
take a bite?
Cut of Bezos, yeah. So those are going to be Bezos testicles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Bezos has an unfortunate habit of exposing itself via the dick pic. And so it makes the testicles ripe for the plucking. How do they taste?
Little salty.
Yeah, that's the brine doing its work, baby.
Okay.
Got some gazpacho in your galoshes now.
Wow.
Sure. Well,
wow.
We appreciate you sending those over. That really wasn't necessary. Is there a name for these?
Yeah, they're Seattle Mountain Oysters.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. So I think we're going to let you go here in a minute, but I think the question that's on everybody's minds is how would you prepare a Trump?
No. Eating a Trump. No, you don't want to do that. Those right colors. That's nature saying, stay away. Do not eat. Yeah.
Like a poisonous toad.
Yeah, like a poison dart toad or one of those butterflies that just flashes, has the big eyes on the back of it. You don't want to eat one of those. They look juicy. They look fatty, but it's like he's like one of them foie gras gooses that's sucking down Fox News with the tube down his throat. It's bad news.
Okay, so you would not recommend we shouldn't hunt and kill like a Trump, for instance.
I didn't say that. I'd say just don't eat one. And
okay.
By my count, I think the days are numbered too. So get in while you can.
Okay, well this has been Chef Marty Crook, everybody. Thank you, Marty.
Put some gazpacho in your galoshes.
Okay, take care.
Marty.
Thanks a lot. All right. Well, that was enlightening, boy. Woo!
Wow.
Okay.
Well, we've come to our final guest.
We sure have.
I'm very excited. Our final guest is always our musical guest, and this is someone that we met. Jeannie Yashere was in town playing the club.
Comedian we love.
and it was her birthday, and we went out to the Radio Bean, and this person was playing there. Ooh, our dog is barking.
We're bringing him in right now. Please welcome Niji Atalaya, everybody.
Yay!
How are you doing?
Hi.
How you doing, guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm gonna go shut our dog up.
She's on dog duty now.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay?
We can, yeah, absolutely. So maybe you tell our viewers here, do you remember what happened with you and Gina, how you guys met?
It was so fucking random.
So random. I know.
It was
she
so
had
random.
gotten off the plane, right? You guys all got off the plane together.
So I actually saw her floating through JFK, and in London, she's a celebrity. Even in the States, she's a celebrity, right? So I see her. I'm like, I'm sure that's Gina, but she's just walking straight, and then I walk into the plane, and she's like front row. I'm like, okay, cool. That's like, I grew up on Gina. Like, I grew up Little Miss Just. I grew up on that. And so I go to the back of the plane. We get off, and I'm faffing around because I've got all of my gear, like my keyboard and stuff. And we say hello to each other because we're the only two black people on that plane. And we're
and this is in Burlington. You're getting off the plane in Burlington, Vermont.
In Burlington, Vermont, we get off the plane. So we start chatting. I'm just like, why are you here? This is so random. It's like, why are you here? She's like, I'm playing a show here. And she asked me, why are you here? I'm like, oh, I'm playing a show here too. And she was like, oh, this is great. And you're British, I'm British. No, we've got to connect. So then she was like, this is what we'll do. You come to my show, and then we'll come to your show after my show. I was like, perfect. So I came down to the Vermont Comedy Club, and you guys came over to the show at the Light Club Lamp Show.
Yeah, and it happened to be her birthday.
It was her birthday. It was her birthday. Yeah.
It was so fun. It was such a fun time, and
fun.
I mean, for you to lug all your gear to come all the way up for one little set at Radio Bean, it was so nice to see you play, and it was great. We had a great time.
Yeah, well, I don't take those things for granted. Absolutely not, because you can see now is that like
certainly now, yeah.
Give me a frog and a cat and a keyboard and I'll play. But so it was, the beautiful thing about the States is that like you can find all of these nook and cranny places that would be happy to help you come and play. So for me, I did that as part of my tour for the last album, Late Nights, Early Mornings, and I did New York, Vermont, and London. There was the only 3 days on my tour. It don't get more random than that.
Makes for a really boring T-shirt.
Exactly.
That's so funny.
Exactly.
Oh wow. So have you been doing a lot of like just studio recording kind of stuff, or what have you been up to these days?
Yeah, luckily I've been cutting a lot of records for people in my, I don't know if you can see something, but I'm in the studio setup here. So I've been cutting a lot of records for people. A lot of people want me to like play piano for them for their records, or organ or whatever. So just been cutting a lot of records for people, man. That's what's been keeping me busy, luckily.
That's good.
Yeah, cool.
That's great.
Well, I mean, how are things in London right now? Did he already ask you?
No. London is, well, there's two things. So we had the shittest thing ever, and it was just so disgraceful that the UK was one of the only countries that had anti-Black Lives Matter protest, which is just fucking absurd to me. It was so stupid. But then they also was coupled by people kind of breaking the rules of like quarantine really early on. They were heading down to the beaches. I don't know if you saw all the videos and stuff like that. So, but London right now is opening back up. It's opening back up slowly and surely. But it's just been a real shitty couple of months for the world, to be honest. But yeah, London and the UK really showed their shitty side during the last few months.
I kind of know the feeling a little bit. I feel like we did the same a little bit.
Oh well, the US is a shit
show.
The
US is definitely a shit show.
Yeah, we're a shit show. That's
I don't know what's worse right now, honestly.
Yeah. I do feel lucky we're in Vermont, because I think it's better here than some places we could be, but
well, that's the town of Bernie, right? If I'm right.
Yeah. It is, yeah, Bernie Sanders. Yeah.
So you got some level-minded people over there, I hope. So.
Well,
yeah, it's great to see you, man.
Thank you.
We would love to hear you play. Do you have something you want to play for us?
So I've kind of taken like 4 or 5 months out. So I don't know if you want something live or you want something off the album, or what's the vibe today?
Oh, I think it's whatever you want to do. Usually, like, someone will play a song and we will turn our cameras off just so that we can enjoy it, and our fans can just watch and enjoy the music, and then we'll come back on afterwards.
Okay, so
talk just a little bit more.
I'm gonna play a tune off of my last album.
Oh, I think the sound just stopped working. No, sound is not working.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, yes.
All right, so I'm gonna say my prelude, and then I'm gonna cut straight to the music. Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right, we're just gonna turn our video off. Yeah, you do your thing.
Okay, wicked. So this is called Winter Soul. It's taken off of my second album, Late Nights, Early Mornings. And guys, I hope you do enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely.
Awesome. So where can people find your album if they want to purchase it and support you? How can people support you?
Wicked. So it's available on every single musical device you can think of. So all of the streaming services, and it's Niji Adeleye. That's Nijiadeleye. And the album is called Late Nights, Early Mornings. So you can check it out everywhere.
It's really mornings. Awesome.
Cool,
man. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Man, I wish I clocked in earlier to watch it all. This is so fantastic, man. Good job for you guys. Like, it's so well produced.
Oh, thanks.
We're just trying to keep ourselves a little busy here, and
No,
is
that shop behind you the highway in not the highway? Is that like the main stretch in Burlington, Vermont?
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I was like, I remember this. I think I took his dad's selfie there, like while I was in town.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
It is the place. It's the street. It's Church Street. It's the
there
street.
you go. There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully we will. Get to see you in person again.
Yes.
When you play the Radio Bean again on your next international tour.
Yeah.
It's international tour. The Radio Bean Light Club Lunch Shop is going to be #1 on the list.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks. We'll talk to you
Great
later.
to see you.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Blessings.
Yeah.
He's
Niji
great.
Adalea.
He's great.
Check him out. There's all kinds of stuff. There's so many videos. Come on. I went down a YouTube rabbit hole watching videos today
Of him?
Yeah,
he's
you could do the same. He's wonderful.
a monster player. He's so good.
So that's it, right? That was our show.
Remind people what we were raising money for tonight. This is a free show. We don't charge anything for it, but if you care to throw a few bucks our way, we're going to chuck it to NavajoStrong.com, which raises money to help the Navajo and just Native American populations in Utah, I believe. I went down a rabbit hole on Instagram, and they're doing some amazing work for like hundreds of families out there. So it's an excellent cause. If you can't throw money at it, at least give them a follow and check out what they're doing and share what they're doing, because it's really important work.
And I would also say, go as soon as you get off of this right now, go check out our new website. It's really, really cool. There are videos, there are podcasts, there's new merch. And, if only just because we've been working hard on it, go take a look. Why not? We miss you all so much. And we'll be back next Friday with another episode of Talk to Us, Please. Have a great night.
Take care, everybody. Good night.